I'm not happy. It needs to be better. So what I want to do, what everybody else in here wants to do, where we want to be, we're nowhere near it.
Not happy, even after the win, even though it's Christmas. Now, Shannon, are the Eagles' issues something or nothing?
They're something. They entered a three-game slide, but here's what I've been talking about defensively. They're ranked 27th in pass D, 29th in red zone D, 30th in third down D, 25th in points allowed, 20th in total D. So now here's the thing. Saturday, you can't tack the quarterback like you once did last year. You don't get the turnovers that you created last year. You don't run the football, even though they had more success running it yesterday than they have in the past. And Jalen Hurts is turning the ball over double what he turned it over last year. So how do you expect to be what you once were if you don't do what you once did? You see, that's the problem. And Devontae Smith, the one thing I like about him is that he's not foolish or naive enough to think because we won a ball game that all our issues have been resolved. He knows they have some things that they need to clean up. 2 turnovers. I mean, the guys running each other turned the ball over. Goddard's running an out route. He slipped, and the ball goes right to Dory Jackson for a pick 6. They have a lot of issues that they got to get resolved if they want to get back to where they once were.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I agree that there are issues. I would have said yesterday, there are times in football games where the unpredictable become the driving force in keeping teams in games. And that was yesterday, right? There's Zacchaeus, like the first return, and he turns around, hits Scott, fumble, and the next thing you know, Barkley walks in for a touchdown, and now the game is tight, right? Like you saw the Eagles putting together a game plan that I thought was the recipe for them to fix all their problems. That first half, until Hurts made that mistake. He got bailed out because they got a penalty, but not going out of bounds and being able to kick the field goal late in that first half. That was a turning point for me, right? It's like a brain dead play, right? Like you got to go out of bounds, man. You're lucky they hit the ball and got the delay penalty, all that kind of stuff. But once the pressure hit them, they reverted back to what's been the problem during the season. And that's kind of the problem for me. Because when I look at this team, I see a team last year that threw the ball well early to then expose you with their run game. That is not going to happen this year. Teams are playing you different. You're not playing as well offensively as you did last year. You're not nearly as explosive as you were last year, so you're not getting the leads. But guess what? You can play complementary football by running the football. You're still a good running football team. So fall back on what your best would be. And that includes Jalen Hurts in the run game. Make no mistake. I'm not just talking about line up and hand up, but use him in this thing to control the clock, to lessen how much time your defense is on that field. I thought they had a great game plan. And then the fall down, Goddard's going to make he slips and falls down. It's a pick six. We're keeping him in again. And then Blankenship gives up a freaking touchdown to Slayton. Why? Why are you letting anybody behind you at that point in the game? There's no reason for a lot of the things that happen. But saying all that, I'll say this, Shannon. This is the only team in the NFL that has beat 4 teams with 9 wins or more. They beat Miami, they beat Dallas, they beat Buffalo, and they beat Kansas City. No other team in the NFL can say they beat that quality of opponent, right? So even in their worst moments, they have found ways to win. I respect that. Now, are they nail biters? Yeah. But when you get in the playoffs, there might be some nail biters, so I'm not taking everything away from them quite yet.
Yeah, I agree, and that's very impressive that they have 4 wins over teams that have at least 9 wins. But when I look at this team, I see a very, very flawed team. I see a team defensively that they can't lock it down. I see a team that doesn't turn you over. I see a team that gives up yardage whenever. Because the mark of any great offensive defense, can you get done what you need to get done? Tommy DeVito got benched.
Yeah.
And came in and did a great job throwing the ball. Because the turnovers, because they don't run the ball with the same conviction. Now they have to throw it. They'll let the defense determine when they throw the football. All last year Saturday, they threw the ball when we going to throw the football when we want to. We're going to run it. The offensive line was brutalizing people. That's not the same offensive line. They don't block with the same tenacity, and I don't know if they don't obviously we know they have different offensive and defensive play callers, but they don't run the football. I don't see that same conviction or passion to run the football. The same violence. That's the term we use when we ran the football in Denver.
Yeah.
We call it violence.
Happy and Tuesday indeed after seeing the best of Shannon.
Oh, man, that was amazing. Thank
Yes,
you, ESPN,
1,000,000% Victoria.
No, go ahead, P-Mac. Go ahead.
Shannon, let me give you your flowers real quick.
Okay,
Shannon,
go
let me
ahead.
give you your flowers. Complex said you're the most. Complex said you're the most entertaining human on TV. Okay, that list is not fluid either, pal. You not only do it linear-wise on TV in those great suits, and the teeth look phenomenal. I know you brush them 6-7 times a day, and if you're in prime time, maybe 10 times a day you got to do. But now, what you and Ocho have started doing on the internet, you take over the whole world, pal. Shannon, every flower that you get from whoever gives it to you is well-deserved, well-earned. And that was a great way to start this Tuesday after the holiday watching that of you, Unc. Do your thing.
I appreciate that, P-Mac. I appreciate that. It's great being on here with you and Stephen A. Saturday and D.O., RC. Guys, you guys have welcomed me with open arms, and I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for allowing me to be myself.
All the flowers to you, Shannon. And we're going to go back to the Ravens, who deserve some flowers, and their third quarter blitz that solidified Lamar Jackson's MVP status and their win. Now, Jackson threw 2 touchdown passes in a span of 18 seconds in the third quarter, and the Ravens intercepted Brock Purdy 4 times in a 33-19 victory over the San Francisco 49ers on Monday night. And here's Lamar after the big win.
We got the dub. You know, I really don't care about the performance. I just wanted to win, and that's what happened tonight. You know, on Christmas, that was my gift. You know, they asked me at an interview a couple weeks ago, like, what would I want for Christmas? And my wish got granted, you know. You just need to keep going, keep staying locked in, and keep staying focused. Because, you know, we know what it was 2019, you know, when we was playing against guys like this, winning games, winning regular season games. And when the time came, we didn't finish the season, so we just gonna keep taking it a day at a time, you know, practice at a time, and a game at a time. That's all I'm focused on right now.
We got one of his wishes, but I'm sure he has another wish. So, Pat, I'm gonna ask you, is this the year Lamar makes a Super Bowl run?
Well, Holly Jolly Jeff knows this. I'm a big fan of, like, the vibes in a locker room. You know, I like to see how the leaders lead. And I think LeBron's leadership style is one that is absolutely glorious. His team loves him. Everybody that's ever played alongside of him absolutely loves him. And now the MVP conversation is getting dropped in here for Lamar this year. He would win another one if that was the case. He's the odds-on favorite. His stats this year, I think, are going to be tough in that particular element, although I believe he should win. I do think this is the year that Lamar makes a Super Bowl run. And it's not just because of how great he's playing in that Jeff Monken offense for the first year that's only going to grow, only going to get better as the season continues, as they get more familiar with each other. But if you look at the weapons that he has and how they're playing, I mean, obviously he throws a touchdown right here to not only Zay Flowers and Nelson Aguilar's on the team, and Odell Beckham Jr. is doing his thing, and Likely has filled in for Mark Andrews, who was his #1 weapon for numerous years. And Gussie Edwards has 12 touchdowns on the season, scored in back-to-back games, but Lamar can do everything he's always been able to do. He's just mature at doing it, and the offense is much better. Then you go to the defensive side of the ball. Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, the tag team of linebackers who are able to move all over the field and make plays. Kyle Hamilton, although he said he didn't want to be on the all-white team, which is not good for us at all after the game. He is 6'4" and everywhere on the football field. That team is loaded. They're able to win close games. They're able to win big games. They're able to win the Super Bowl preview game. And if they get home field advantage, those Baltimore folks will show up in a massive way. I do believe this is the year that Lamar Jackson can make a run. Now, Unc, I heard you don't like Lamar. That's what the internet told me. They told me you're racist. They told me that you think Lamar Jackson not good at football, Unc. You a believer after last night? You a believer?
Go ahead. I will follow you up. Go ahead, Saturday.
Oh, Unc's a believer, but I'll help you. But I'll let him finish it off. Listen, this is a good football team. This is the best football team in the NFL right now. And I will say it this way. I think the thing that separates Lamar, and I do not think he's the MVP of the league right now. I don't think it matters to him. I think he wants to win a Super Bowl. That's all that matters to him, and that's all that should matter to any of them. So when you set this thing above, though, what he can do so well and how he differentiates himself from every other QB is his manipulation in the pocket. In the past, where he might pull that ball down and try to go run and get yards, He will pull the ball down for a brief second, buy time, run away from defenders, and still find the open man down the field. What does that do to defenses, and what got exposed for the 49ers last night? It's the scramble drill, only it's not chaotic because he's not being pressured because he's running away from people. So he waits his time and then buys time until the very end. He separates himself by the ability to do that, which allows receivers to uncover down the field and big plays to occur. Their defense is number one in the league. They are playing lights out. You saw them 5 turnovers last night. And then when they run it, and this includes Lamar Jackson as part of the run game, they're one of the top run teams in the NFL. So every metric that you would measure a team and can they get finally to the Super Bowl, they check every box.
Yeah, Lamar was great last night. 252 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no turnover, another 45 yards rushing. He had his MVP moment last night on 3rd and 16. He gains 30 yards, gets him in field goal range. He was sensational. But he said something very interesting. He said, I remember in 2019, we won games just like this, only to fall short come playoff time. So nothing else really matters. We're going to take it one practice at a time, one game at a time, one day at a time. Because at the end of the day, nothing else matters. He's going to have to finish this because he wants to be thought of as one of the historically great players. And what they normally do is that they win an MVP and they win a Super Bowl. Can you imagine the elite class that he's going to be in with 2 MVPs and a Super Bowl? There's not a whole lot of guys. There are a lot of guys that won Super Bowl MVPs because, that's one game. But the MVP of the regular season, that means over 17 games. And to have 2 of those on his resume, get to the Super Bowl, win that, 2 regular season MVPs, a Super Bowl, that would put him in some of the elitists of company. And so, look, what he did last night, he put everybody on notice, not just the AFC. He put the NFL on notice because he went in there and did what Zay Flowers did. Kicked the door in, stole all the gifts, and got up out of town.
Great.
So that's what Lamar did last night.